that next time you join us that you decide to do it live, because this show is made to be lived and consumed with the community like myself that are men and women across the world that are, well, taking domain names and turning them into, developing them into businesses that can truly help millions, can really impact millions of lives. And we're going to talk about community today, specifically how the community that comes from domain names can, make you some money, help lots of your customers out, as well as the visitors to your site, how to keep these pieces in mind as you evaluate domain names like we're going to later on in the show. We're going to look through expired domain names, evaluate opportunities, and talk about some of the businesses and developments that we can put on those domain names to, well, turn out, make some money, right? Make some money, build enterprises, allow us to create and grab our dreams and make them happen, to create the lives that we want to have. All of that, as I see coming up in chat a little bit, it is Valentine's Day. It's the day after Super Bowl. I'm a Cincinnati guy. Bummed that the Bengals didn't win, but also how awesome is it? I'm just really thankful to be to live at a time that Cincinnati can make the Super Bowl, be highlighted, and so on. Exciting. And Valentine's Day, I'm here with you, peeps. Here we are. There's lots of love. So we're gonna talk, and I'm going to show you a little bit about domain development. I want to talk specifically also about just what kind of domains we're looking to develop. One of the top questions that I get, I want to address today as well, which is, hey, people come to me with, hey, Drew, I have this domain, I want to develop it, and unfortunately, it's often the wrong domain name. So I want to try to clarify that a little bit, make sure that the domain name you have is great for development. So that way you don't start with a bad domain name or a domain name that's going to create more obstacles for you. All that after the break. So make sure you subscribe to the video, like the video, but subscribe also. I think we're 11 away from 500, which I kind of see that as a really cool subscriber number. So if you're ever on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're not on YouTube, come over there. Well, let's run this intro, peeps. Say hi in the chat. Make sure the community, all these great people, know that you're here, and we will get started. This is Domain to Profit. I'm Drew Wash. See you on the other side.
From domain to profit, from a .com to a business idea. Take a domain name, develop an income from domain to profit. We'll show you how. Domain to profit, from domain to profit. Join Drew Wash and get started right now.
Okay, Domain to Profit, and here we are. Let me just hang out with the people in the chat for a little bit. All my peeps, Michael C. out there. Hello, indeed. Nice to have you back here, Fred. Domain to Profit, showing our love for domains is Valentine's Day. In fact, yes, very much so. And happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Lee, nice to have you as well. Kimberly, nice to have you here on Valentine's Day. And Chaz, I believe, grabbing us our Coaster G's. And here we go, indeed. On time, even. On time. I'm proud of myself. Okay. Well, feel free at any point, whether you come in on live, say hi in the chat whenever you get here. If you're watching on Restream, make sure you're giving us a comment. Give it, say hi to the chat. Even if you're not here, just give a comment underneath the YouTube video, as well as that like. We always appreciate that. And see a couple popping in as well. So, Rafik, hopefully I got that right for you, buddy. I appreciate you joining in and joining us here as well as is there an accent there? Ooh, I don't even know what to do with that accent. El Couch or El Couch? Yeah. I'm butchering it. Apologize, but howdy and welcome, everybody. Well, let's see if we can make you some money. Let's see if we can bring our community, because in domain names, why we are better together is because indeed, like, we are better together and we can actually make money. We can benefit and profit, and it doesn't have to be a dirty word. It seems like making money is like somehow turned into like this bad thing, it seems. Depends on where you look, I guess. But I tend to think that, as long as you're doing it well, you can get everything you're looking for. And as business coaches out there have said, and I'm trying to remember who, Brian Tracy, I believe it was, the business coach, he says, you can have anything you want in life as long as you help enough other people get what they want in life. And that's very much why we're better together. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to try this out. Let's find out what happens when I go and do this. Boom. So over here, I got a bring on, if it works. That is not an example of it working. So I have a whiteboard here on a separate laptop. I'm going to try to illustrate some stuff that we've talked about on numerous occasions. If I can ever get this, there we go. Let's make it a little, there we go. Okay. Technology, we love you or hate you sometimes. So if you've been around for a while, you're probably familiar with what I have over here. And this is Drew's look at how the right domain name to develop, or how a domain name can make you money. And on here, we have nearly every way you can make money from a domain name on there. So you'll see, first of all, the big box. Let me see what the highlighter does here. This big box that we have here that I'm kind of highlighting in yellow, a domain name can be built on for anything else. So up here, you'll see that, hopefully that shows up, that idea of for sale. A lot of people buy domain names as low as possible in hopes that they can sell it for more money. This is a pretty common thing. It may even think of it, it's a very good comparison to real estate. They buy low, try to flip it out for more money. There's money that can be made in domain names, but that's very much you're maybe helping a buyer. When we talk about development, that's not what we're looking to do. In fact, I don't buy domain names to sell them. I buy domains to develop them. I want to get them actually doing more than just, flipping them for some money. And I'm hoping that you here as well are looking specifically for domain names to develop. And the more domains we get developed, the better off we're all going to be. Next to it, on top of that domain name, a lot of people will come to me, and this is that top question that I get asked all the time. And that is, hey, Drew, I have this domain name. I want to build a business on it. What do you think? And they will bring up a domain name that isn't really a great domain name for development. They bring a domain name that I consider a brandable domain name. A domain name that sounds good, a domain name that maybe is catchy, easy to spell. It's just a good domain name. It'd be a great title of a book, a great title of maybe a headline on an ad even, but it's not what I consider a developable domain name. So when you buy these domains, these brandable domain names, think of this as in Google, or this over here. I'm highlighting that building that sits on top of the domain name up on top there. Hopefully you can see that. Not just hopefully, I'm pretty sure you can. I'll try to bring it in there a little bit. So that brand there, that building up there, think of this like Google. It doesn't matter what your domain name is. If you build something cool on it, you can build a brand and make money from it, right? We all know that. That's how the web works. It's often why people don't distinguish between the types of domain names. They are so used to knowing that any domain name could be good enough that they think that all domain names are equal, which hopefully you know by this point, all domains are not equal. Some domains just kick some ass, and that's what we try to concentrate on. What are the domain names that kick ass? What are the domain names that can make money just almost by existing? So those are the domain names that are in the main big box. So this whole big box down here, let me see what this rainbow tool is. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but okay, this whole big box here, I just circled in green, that represents our domain name. The domain name that we're especially looking for, we look for domains that provide validation for our idea, or validation for everybody that's involved, not just one person, not just you and how you think about the domain name, but more importantly, does the domain name validate somebody that types it in, So for example, I'm going to use towing.com, one of our primary developed domains. Towing.com, when I type it in and it shows me something to do with towing, as a user, I'm validated. I typed in a keyword, I typed in a topic and got something back that is similar to that topic. So, but more importantly, and this is how we profit from it, that domain name, towing.com, validates the towing companies that are on it. Now they are a featured towing company on towing.com. Now those visitors, they can view them and say, hey, there's a lot of towing companies, but 1,000, some of them featured on towing.com. Why aren't the other ones? You're creating a question, and you're either in or out with that question. You're either a featured, why are they here? They must be legit, or they're not. Now I'm not so sure. Maybe they're legit, maybe they're not. Who knows? But it validates and confirms the visitors, the customers of your customers, the people that need towing companies. So a great domain name, an exact match keyword domain name. We'll talk about that as we look through domain names here in just a few minutes. But then the other piece is authority. This is that idea that if I'm a towing company on towing.com, I have authority. I belong in this industry. It's shown just because I'm there. I can say I'm featured on towing.com. And even if the customers out there don't know about towing.com, they can know just by the sound of the domain name that, hey, that sounds important to towing or dog groomers. Like if a dog groomer is on doggroomer.com, it sounds like that matters, right? Doesn't it? Hopefully you trigger that in your own brain. Take off your domain developer hat, put on your visitor hat, or maybe your customer. If I owned domainer.com or domaindeveloper.com, I don't, but if I did, and I said, hey, I'm building out a database and I really want to highlight those who are domain developers on this domaindevelopers.com, I'd love to have you on it, register for $29.95. Does that sound like something that labels you well? And that's what it is. It's a label that we are placing on you. A towing company gets the featured on towing.com label. What does that label mean? It validates and provides some authority. Same thing if you were to be listed on domaindeveloper.com. You can get authority, you can get validation from that. And what we do with that is this bottom piece, which is that spigot. The spigot's how we get paid, right? We're bringing value to the industry. We're featuring companies. We're providing them validation, them authority. And in turn, all we're looking to do is turn on a spigot and just get a little taste ourselves. Just take some of that revenue and just pull it out and put it in our pockets. That's all we're doing. We're not trying to. We may become very wealthy, but it's not through maximizing revenue and taking as much as we can out of the industry. Instead, we're truly sharing a domain name with the industry, with that community of that industry. So towing, sharing with towing, dog groomers, sharing with dog groomers, photo booths, sharing with photo booths, and then essentially providing that validation authority. And then when people type it in, they find the content they're looking for. And that may seem like a minor thing, but let's say you have 1,000 customers, members, towing companies on towing.com, for example. That's 1,000 people you're affecting with your domain name development. And then when you are like towing.com, having 50 or more thousand people a month coming into that site, all those people are benefiting from you just letting the domain name do what it was meant to do. You're just connecting the dots. Hey, it's a towing domain name. We're going to show towing companies. We're going to charge them a low monthly fee. Everything's going to be free. Everybody's happy. It's all kumbaya. And we just pull a small monthly fee out, and that runs our business and allows us to have the money to do everything that we hope to do in our lives. Seems so simple. And to be quite honest, I like to think that it is that simple. It is that simple to take the domain names that we're about to look through over on expireddomains.net. This site here, boom, expireddomains.net. We're going to be looking through thousands of domain names that are going to be expiring this week. And then we are specifically going to highlight and talk about the domain names that meet that model, that idea of a domain name that validates everyone that's on it, everyone that types it in, everyone that is listed or featured on it. It has an air of authority. I hate to use authority and validation so frequently, but realistically, that's what it is, right? Like, it's like the police uniform, and you just look at it and you just know that that domain name matters, or that person has authority in some way. It's the white lab jacket of a doctor. Like, they put it on and you just trust them with some things. Put on that domain name, give the authority to that industry, pull a little money off yourself. So here over on expireddomains.net, we're going to talk a little bit more hands-on. We're going to look at domain names that are expiring this week, find the ones that are great for development, and show you how to purchase them. So that's where we're going right now. And I will check in with chat occasionally as well. So feel free to, in chat, as we go through this, mention any domain names that you're seeing that maybe I'm skipping over, as well as domain names that, anyhow. Keep me posted. This is interactive. Let's go. So over on expireddomains.net, you do need to set up a free account. You're going to go to this middle tab for marketplace domains. And then for the sake of this show, we typically spend our time here on the GoDaddy box, specifically the expired domain names. Everything you see there, all those different boxes that are around here and through that entire section there are all domain names, categories or places you can buy domain names. So GoDaddy, you can go there, register a domain name. Sado is a place that you can do the. So all of these are marketplaces, but because GoDaddy is so large and has so many domain names, for the sake of a live show especially, we get to go there and see a lot of great domain names. So that's what we're going to be doing. Okay. Making sure my screen is showing. So what we're going to do is first set up our filters as of, so I'm going to do this real quick. I am going to record this. We're not going to show this every time. I'm going to start just bringing us in and having everything filtered already. But for the sake of this show, I want to show you how we set up the filters one more time. We come into GoDaddy Expired Auctions, go to Show Filter, and then here we want to get rid of numbers. We are getting rid of hyphens. We are going down here and selecting English words, 1 to 3 words. And then we are going over here, and we want to make sure that we're only dealing with auctions that end the next week. That's for the sake of the show. You can look at any amount of them, but if you see down here, this right here, 445,000 domain names are what we're going to be dealing with, or that we're filtering through. And you'll notice that even as we apply this final filter, which is .com only, that .com only tab, now we're going to filter these down. You'll see it's still going to be a lot of domain names. We're taking it from 445,000 down to 85,000. Significant decrease, but obviously that's still a lot of domain names. But what it allows us to do is see the best domain names first. And that's what we're after. I want to make this as productive as for you as possible. I encourage you to continue to take the things that we're going to talk about as we look to these domains and go as deep into the list as you want, play with the filters, find the greatest domain names for what it is that you're looking to build out. So here we go. Essentially, we just take this list and, well, painstakingly, one page down at a time, we look for the best domain names available. Then we will evaluate them using spyfoo.com, which you probably see that tab up over here. Custom construction, I don't mind it. Let's go check it out. You ever hire a company to deal with some custom construction? Okay, as you can see with this one, this is why it's important that you watch this show live. This auction is going to be ending in the next 5 minutes. So we're in the last final minutes of customconstruction.com. So $6,600 is what it is currently. Let's see if we can evaluate it real quickly. Customconstruction.com. So one of the ways that you can determine between a domain name that you may like and a domain name that I truly believe is set for development is by typing it into a free tool like spyfoo.com. Customconstruction.com, you can see here, has 180 total searches available for you to target in the search engines. There are many other keywords that maybe, like, for example, Allison's custom construction, custom. I want to find places where our keyword, our domain name, is in other keywords. So here, like, for example, custom construction Floresville. And you'll see up here, these may have custom construction in them, but they're not next to each other. We want those words right up next to each other. For example, custom construction. This is the best one on this. This over here we will talk about later on. But these questions that you see in that third column, let's see if I am blocking it here. But these right here, these questions give us our first step as far as content. By answering those questions, in essay form or, some kind of graphical way on your domain name, by answering those questions, you're creating valid content, helpful content for your viewer or for your visitors. And then down here, we're looking for a number of advertisers, cost per click. $2.80 is a good. We want to see over $2 there. But then we also want to see advertisers ideally at 10 or more advertisers. Doesn't always have to happen, but we want to see it, which we're not seeing here. And custom construction, I'm just trying to make sure I got it spelled right. I thought these numbers would be a little bit bigger than that. So when I see this here, advertisers are low, then I kind of lose a little bit of interest in this domain name. Certainly not at the price that it's going for right now, $6,600. That'll be a big pass for me. We'll move on as well. Congratulations or good luck to whoever it is that is currently bidding on that one. So we won't talk about a business model necessarily on that one, but essentially it would be, okay, customconstruction.com. Who does that validate? Who would want to appear on that domain name? Who are the advertisers that are already paying to reach that? That's what we're looking for. That's why we'd like to see a lot of advertisers, is it means a lot of people already see that keyword as something that matters to their business. So they're paying money to target that keyword. Like that keyword validates their business already in some way. They want to connect with that audience. That is what we're looking for. If you can type it in, see the keyword, then you're just trying to connect your domain name to the people that are already paying for to reach that keyword or that audience. Fitness mirror. There are fitness mirrors now. I'm going to skip over it. Car videos, plenty of those. Drugrehabilitation.com. Pretty big domain name, as you can see there. Over $10,000 already, ending in 3 days. And what I'm going to do, so I don't have to completely embarrass myself, I'm going to copy and paste that into SpyFu, adding a space. I have a feeling there's probably a lot. Oh, look at that. I expect a high number, but there's only 20 people, or 20 monthly volume. Here's what we like to see, though, with the domain name. So even though this number is almost non-existent, that number is not everything to us. Look over here. So this is a good example of how drug rehabilitation, that keyword, our domain name shows up center near me. Ooh. I need like a ding, ding, ding or something like that. Because as you know, I love seeing near me. I love seeing my domain name with near me. That essentially means that we can localize our domain name. We own this national domain name, this national brand, and then we can break it down into local sections, kind of like towing.com. There's not really national towing companies. They're all local companies, and then we essentially localize it. We just take these and have members join in their local area, small monthly fee. They appear when somebody searches in their local area, and voila, everybody's happy. We're bringing value while helping visitors find drug rehabilitation centers. And if you see here, this domain name, why it is going for so much. Let's go back over $10,000. The reason why it's going for so much is because of these similar keywords here. So you might notice I don't want to click on that. our keyword is part of some pretty big keywords. So even though we can only get like really 20, nobody's really searching for drug rehabilitation by itself. People are searching for drug rehabilitation center near me, drug rehabilitation centers near me. And those keywords are a couple thousand each. Drug rehabilitation. I'm not sure why that's 1,600 and what we typed in is not. What am I missing here? Is there a misspelling? I'm not seeing an alternative spelling. I'm not sure why our domain name, actually, let's scroll down a little bit. Maybe we'll get more information from Google. So this is another thing about this, about especially anything dealing with, cannabis, anything a lot of times with drug in it at all, medical stuff, they a lot of times don't even accept advertisers for those. So you'll see here, there's no advertisers, no cost per click, which that is actually a positive in the domain world. Google doesn't want to deal with it, but there's obviously still a need, right? Like people still need to find drug rehabilitation centers. They still need information on drug rehabilitation. And Google is linking to places. They're just not charging money. They're choosing to not profit from it. In most cases, it's because there's so many scams around and stuff. They don't want to be responsible for it. So you can be the police of that. You can provide that validation, maybe some kind of, making sure that people are licensed or something like that when they sign up. And now you provide a service both to the visitors as well as the centers themselves. What kind of content you're going to put up? Well, answer these questions over here. Answer them really, really well. Or better yet, secret, have your members, have the people that are advertising on your site answer these questions. And then you have the experts answering the questions for the visitors, giving you an opportunity to show up well in the search engine rankings for these keywords. Why would you show up well for the rankings? Well, because you are helping people. You're answering their questions. You're providing a path for them to get the information they want, as well as find locations of services around them. And all you do, one of the $45 a month or something like that from the different locations. Makes sense to me. Drugrehabilitation.com. I love it as a local directory. Not a big fan at the price that it is, over $10,000. We will find something better today. We will find something better. How would you get the $10,000 or more? Why is it up that high? Well, using the local Legion 300. What is that? Well, that is where the top 300 cities in the United States, top 300 cities, over 300 cities have more than 100,000 people in them. Those are pretty big cities, and you just need each one of those cities, you need to find one drug rehabilitation center that's willing to become a member to represent that city or that area, 300 of them. So what would it take to raise $10,000 or get to like $10,000 a month? Well, if you can get to 300 of them, that'd be what, $30 a month? And you'd be breaking even in 1 month. I don't have my calculator in front of me, but that sounds about right to me. So there you go. Voila. And it is that easy, and I know there's a lot of work between now and actually accomplishing it, but that's how it goes. Okay, checking down in chat, making sure I'm not missing anything, and it appears that I'm not. So I'm on one window, so I have to click around to make sure that I am seeing everything. Welcome to all of you Russian bots and things. We'll block you as of someday. Okay, heading on to our next series of domain names. So we've looked at drug rehabilitation. I'm not a big fan of that domain name. I avoid medical domain names, gambling domain names, for the most part. It just when you get into some of those, especially I avoid adult ones as well. There's different rules to the game when it comes to search engine optimization and ranking for keywords in some of these industries. You can learn them. It's just a matter of you spending the time to learn what you need to do. The only thing is you want to spend $10,000 on drugrehabilitation.com to do that. I don't know. That's why we'll find better stuff as we get going. Love clam.com from an investment standpoint. You want to see a big number? I saw this one earlier. Clam.com, $76,000 already. And how are they going to make money off that? I have no idea. It's a good one-word domain name. If you sell clams, I'm guessing it provides authority for you and so on. But $76,000, it's not for me. It's not for you probably, but it's fun to see. It's fun to see. That's more of an investment play. Somebody's going to use that as a brandable. They want to be clam.com. They want to build an enterprise where whatever it is that they're selling is on that very memorable, very easy to spell and say domain name. That is why they pay so much for it, but it won't have, it's just, yeah. If you type it in, let's just go to SpyFu. Okay, we'll go check it out just a little bit. Not because I actually want to spend much time on it, but I just want to show you that the data is part of what justifies a domain price. In this case, yes, there's a ton of people searching for clam. You can see there's a ton more even searching for clams and then clam chowder. And yes, you can target and put clam chowder recipes on clam.com. You can sell clams. You can do all that stuff. But here is why I'm not a big fan of this. There's not really anybody advertising for it. I'm sure there are some advertisers not being picked up by SpyFu, but the reason they're not really showing up is this here. They're paying so little. What does somebody typing in or searching for clam, what are they even looking for? There's a zillion, there's dozens of things they might be looking for, and that breaks up the purpose of that domain name in a way that I avoid domain names when it's just ambiguous and doesn't really have a clear purpose, which, yeah, there you go. That's why I'm passing it up. I welcome your disagreement in the chat. If you love it, let me know you love it. I know some people obviously a lot of people love it for $70-some thousand to buy it. I'd be curious to know if they are actually going to develop it and what it would be developed as. Business profile. It sounds good. What do you expect to find on it? Profiles of businesses. It kind of validates that idea. The only thing is who wants to type in businessprofile.com to find a business profile? I'm gonna skip over that one. If enough of you love it, you can mention it in the chat and I come back to it, but it sounds kind of boring. A lot of our domains, Rehabilitation Center, or drugrehabilitation.com, profiles of drug rehabilitation centers on it. It's a business profile, but it's better to have a topic, better to be specific. You get too generic and then suddenly it becomes kind of like clam. Like what do you expect to find on it? One of the things I often say is that a domain name is like your job as a domain developer, our jobs, is simply to build on that domain name what somebody already imagines is on it. When you say a domain name, like clam.com, what do you expect to find on it? I have no idea. I would never type in clam.com because I have no idea what I would expect to have on it. Now, on the other hand, customconstruction.com. Does that paint a pretty clear picture of what you expect to find on that domain? I'd probably expect to find construction companies, like physical construction companies that do custom home construction, maybe custom, room construction, all kinds of, home construction, commercial and residential. All of that would be on there. It wouldn't surprise me at all. And that clarity, that idea that any one of us can pretty quickly think about what should be on that domain name because the domain name specifically says it. That's what we're looking for. And don't trust your own judgment. Type it in the SpyFu, as well as ask a couple people around you. Bounce it off of people to say, hey, what do you expect to find on this domain name? Like energyclub.com. What do you expect to find on energyclub.com? No freaking clue. It's going to be whatever somebody builds on it. And they're going to have to define what that means. And we want to avoid that. It's very expensive to build a brand. when it comes to these domain names, we are buying a brand in the form of the domain name. The domain name is our brand. We don't have to build the brand or put a bunch of money into the brand, defining what it is, defining what our brand means. Instead, we just buy it and just provide what people expect to be on it. Saw Deluxe Spa there. That was kind of fun. What do you expect to find on Deluxe Spa? I guess Deluxe Spas, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a thing. Any Freight, kind of enjoy. What do you expect to find on Any Freight? Probably shipping companies that deal with Any Freight, but that's a little bit of a stretch. It's starting to get into that brandable arena. So you can go, we limit our searches to 1 to 3 words, mostly because you can have keywords that make sense. You know what to expect on them. And I'm looking at WisconsinHomemaker.com. WisconsinHomemaker.com. What do you expect to find on it? Homemakers in Wisconsin or something like that. Although look at this, these numbers over to the right, probably blocked by my head here, up here. Those numbers up there show that this was developed at some point and there are backlinks and some search and optimization to it. But the more words you have, yes, you can have specific domain names. The only thing is the more words, the more watered down the domain gets. You want it to be like that perfect place where it's short, memorable, easy to say. They can't make mistakes, and it says exactly what's going to be on that domain name. You can take something like, let's grab one of these other domain names, coffeesuppliers.com. What do you expect to find? Probably places that provide bulk coffee and coffee supplies and things. I like that domain name. I'm going to click on it. But what about the domain name coffeesuppliersinCincinnatiOhio.com? What do you expect to find on coffeesuppliersinCincinnatiOhio.com? Well, it paints a picture, actually it just tells you exactly what's on it. And that's a little too much. That's where there's maybe 12 people that type it in. And that's a stretch. If you call people you're like, hey, Mr. Coffee Supplier, do you want to be on coffeesuppliersinCincinnatiOhio.com? They'll be like, whoa, that's a long domain name. I'm never going to type that in. Probably not. And so there's that balance. Hopefully that makes sense and is helpful. 6 days left on this one. $116 currently. Coffeesuppliers.com. Let's type that into SpyFu. Okay, Coffee Suppliers, 480 searches available. You'll see down here the search volume. That's how many people are actually searching for it through Google, reported by Google. SpyFu does the math and says, hey, on this search, Google is showing maps, they're showing all kinds of ads. So realistically, even though there's 2,400 people searching, don't count on getting more than 420. These estimated clicks here, right? That's the most important piece. What's available to us for this keyword? Coffee suppliers, coffee cup suppliers, certified organic coffee suppliers, not exactly matching our search terms. So they're putting other keywords in there. That loses some value for us, but still makes sense a little bit here. But this is, oh yeah. That's what I'm looking for there. Okay. Advertisers, 23 people advertising for this freaking keyword. 23 people, and they're not just paying $2. They're paying $3.75 per click. That looks like a lot of people trying to target this little keyword, which means, well, it's bloody waters. It's bloody waters. The red, that ocean that they're battling in is just bloody because they're just each beating each other up and they're outbidding each other. They're trying to figure out how they can scrape every penny by to make money. And then you come in You buy coffeesuppliers.com, you build a website that shows and features coffee suppliers on it, coffee cup suppliers, coffee lid suppliers, coffee whole bean suppliers, roasted coffee suppliers, the equipment to produce and roast coffee, all of that stuff. You put it on there, you charge the different small businesses a small monthly fee to join the community of coffeesuppliers.com. Voila. You get 100 of them, 200 of them. Well, let's take it down. Since we don't see coffee suppliers near me, I'm guessing it's one of the smaller keywords. You can try that absolutely out. Let's say we could only get 20 featured members on such a site, 20 companies, and let's say we go with $60 a month, $50 a month. So 20 people, $50 a month. What is that? $1,000. So $1,000 a month. If you could find the 20 people to pay you $50 a month to reach this. So where would you find the 20 people? Well, how about this? There's 23 people already paying Google to reach every individual person. They're paying per click, and they are desperate for something to give them a way to reach an audience, be valid, have an authority that will help them get more sales and, make their dreams come true. There's 23 of them there, so that's a pretty good place to start for sure. So there you go, coffeesuppliers.com. Looking at essentially a portal directory type website showing the different suppliers in that area. And it is currently going for $116. I do anticipate that one easily becoming a 4-figure sale. I say that because I will probably be one of the people that will make it a 4-figure sale. If you get it less than that, then more power to you. Coffeesuppliers.com. And the reason why I am wish listing it and highlighting it is I want to apply my 5-minute last minute bid strategy. So you want to bid, you want to put your top proxy bid in, 5 minutes and 10 seconds left in the auction. All the major investors are going to do something similar. If you act too soon, you will invite more competition in on that domain name. I promise you, you want to wait. I just saw it last week with a domain name that we talked about on the show. No one bid until the morning of the auction. And once that first person bid that morning, so they did it, 12 hours before the auction? Once they bid, 3 more people bid within just a couple hours. And then by the end of the auction, it was crazy, and the auction went for more money. Wait until the last minute. Force people to decide that this domain name is going to get their attention in those last few minutes. It's going to keep some of the competition away. So there you go. We all get busy at the end of auctions. Let me check in on chat. It's been a while, and it seems like it's been so quiet. Yes, I talk about this often, Kimberly. We're in agreement. I love plurals. I like ing at the end, so towing, as opposed to like towing companies or towing company. Like, which one's better if you have to do singular, plural? When I purchased doggroomers.com, got doggroomers.com, paid a lot for it, overpaid, but that suddenly once I added on doggroomer.com, so now I have the singular and the plural, I own that specific industry, and they become suddenly much more valuable, right? Instead of breaking it up, I can have it all. That's what we've done in towing as well. But yeah, I prefer plural if I can only get one of them, especially for a directory model like what we do at towing.com. But you take whatever you can get. But understand that, any case that the domain name could be singular or plural, part of the value of that domain name is being split into other domain names. Hippo's valuation, 1 billion. Is that one of the domain names? Hippo's a fun one. Is Hippo 2 P's? I'm not sure. Yeah, valuations are always, take them with a grain of salt. We use Google's default valuation to order this report. It's one of the things I talk about often. Just we order by that. But realistically, the valuation is made up. In fact, even look at Coffee Supplies, 4,000. When we looked at Clam, here's what they did. It's more than 25,000. Like, yeah, no shit. It's more than 25,000. It's already $76,000. That domain name, a single 4-letter domain name, is going to go for a lot, not because of necessarily the keyword, but because short domains matter. It's memorable. There's only one way you can spell clam. Can you come up with another way to spell clam? I can't even. I'm a horrible speller, and I don't even think I can mess that word up. All of that matters in the domain name value, but obviously that's not helpful, really. It's over 25,000. Does that mean it's going to be $100,000 domain name? Does it mean it's going to? I personally would not pay anywhere close to 76,000. I would probably pay 25,000 for it. That would, but I don't know what I would do with it. That's the reason why I wouldn't pay top dollar for it. Okay, moving on with that. We found some good domain names. Coffee Suppliers, I like that. What, you like that one? Anybody out there going to bid on that? As always, you can feel free to ping me, direct message me over on Twitter if you're going to go for something. I'm usually pretty open with what my max bid is. I don't really play around with that. If you value it more, you go and buy it and develop it. That's the key thing. I want the domain names developed because that's one of the things let me pull over the main camera here, because one of the things I need to tell you about, and this is the secret piece of how we're all better together when it comes to domain development. And that is this. Back in the 90s, when domain names were becoming around and Google didn't have their heels dug in and they weren't as powerful as what they are currently, domain names were the primary way that people went to stuff. Like, they just was word of mouth. You would tell people your domain name, they'd go to it. Then other search engines came around. Yahoo started to do their directory. Alta Vista started to do a search engine. And essentially, the issue was content you had to have a way to find content, and the domain names often weren't a good indicator of what was on them, or in many cases, they weren't even registered in those early days. So what happened? A bunch of investors come in, they buy all the great domain names, and now in the late 90s, early 2000s, when you type in a domain name, you're like, oh, I'm going to get something helpful on this domain name. Instead, what you got was pop-up ads. Remember those? You freaking go to the wrong domain name, you make a typo, and next thing you know, you're like in pop-up hell. Oh my goodness, you'd have like freaking adult sites and everything. You have to restart your computer or whatever because everything was just haywire. That's how domains like kind of got started. And what we did was we trained the entire world, don't type in domain names. That's what we trained them. We punished them when they typed in domain names instead of rewarding them with helpful content. And the result was, well, Google got their power, search engines got their power, and they became the best way to navigate to helpful content. But here's what I'm here to tell you, and why domain development is so important to me. I know that if we all, if us domain owners develop our domain names just with basic intent to provide the content that is expected to be on that site. If we develop them that way, yeah, profit in the meantime. But if we develop our domain names to where we're rewarding people that type in domain names, we can start to all be better off because domain names will be more helpful to the visitors. They will more and more type them in directly, taking power back from Google, rewarding everybody that owns great domain names by their value going up, and voila, we're all better off. We're better together in that way as well. So develop your domain names, get them in the hands of developers, or join me here and let's find some domain names and then get them in our hands so we can develop them. Back over to expireddomains.net. I love it, Rick. That's good. Yeah, Clam, that's a great one. That is yep. Point made. Yes. You could certainly spell it with a K. In fact, if you own, just imagine that person that owns Clam with a K. Every time they don't own Clam with a K, they own Clam. And whenever they say their domain name, it's clamwithak.com. So clam.com with a K. Like they can never just say clam.com. Penalty. Okay. So hopefully I've shown you some of the ways that we're all better together as we're developing these domain names. I am a huge fan of team. I'm a huge fan of community. That is why I do this live versus like recording something. I want to be able to hang out, interact with other people that are building my team as we are improving each of our lives by, well, improving our own life. Steamer carpet. Nope. That, just so you know, that's a major failed domain name. That's not a good domain name at all. That appraises at whatever GoDaddy has it appraised at. But Steamer's carpet, it's not worth anything. Don't even hand register it. Why? It has the middle S. Maybe carpet steamer or carpet steamers might make sense, but Steamer's carpet. No. If English is not your primary language, that can be a tricky domain name, which it's going to be important that you check it out. Don't fall for those middle S's, especially. It's not always something you have to not. General rule of thumb is don't get a middle S if you are not. If English is not your primary language and you don't have a lot of experience with domain names. And if the word is cactus, then middle S is a little different. Smart invention. Schedule idea. My day spa. I like the word my. I love day spa. I would love dayspa.com. Not going to go looking that up. I'm going to skip over the domain name for now. But as far as domain names go, adding my in front of it is a pretty good way to take a domain name that is expensive and cheapening it some. And that's okay, especially if the person that's typing it in expects it to be something that's customizable for them. What do I expect from my day spa? Maybe a profile for me as a user that allows me to keep track of the treatments, whatever I like the most. Something like that. And yes, I think Jake was mentioning that there's some good ones today, and there are indeed. We've had some good ones today for sure. He's asking for an update on Pet Groomers, which Dog Groomer and doggroomers.com are the ones I own. To be quite honest, there's not much of an update. I was going to, when I was preparing for this show, or when I was kind of thinking topically if I want to talk about anything, moving on to the next page here. So that's first 300 domain names. And the reason why there's so many good ones is we are ordered by GoDaddy's appraisal. You'll see that over in that column there. So now, actually, we're not ordered by, we were not ordered by GoDaddy appraisals, which would be this valuation thing. I wonder if we should go back and, well, crap. How did that happen? I don't know what to do here. That messes me up a bit. We're probably going to see a lot of duplicate domains, but I want to order by the valuation. So we're going to see a lot of duplicates here. Apologies for that. For some reason, I was ordered by the end time, and I don't want that. I want to see the most expensive valued domain names. So back to the update on doggroomers.com. And this will address and answer, in fact, let me go main camera on this. Somebody just recently asked in the comments of last week's video, I believe, they were talking about, hey, Drew, you've mentioned the idea of building software that will allow us to develop domain names. That was something I expected to have prototyped out by last year, which is the purpose of Dog Groomers. It was going to be one of the first ones on that. And what I kind of figured out is I am not really, I'm not capable of doing it right now. I'm just not capable of it. I'm not the leader that I need to be to make that happen. I can have the ideas. I can know exactly how it's going to do, but I'm still I'm looking and searching for like a number two, a operations person. And I'm realizing that I have to have somebody that is a good manager, good at managing people and processes, because my broad stroke thinking, my idea of like, here's all we need to do. We need to do this, and the exact same thing I do here on the show with you, like the broad strokes of the business, knowing that's not enough to work an enterprise. It might be good enough back when I coded, back when I did everything myself. Sure, probably worked. Or when it was just me and Chaz and we sat there and bounced things off and we were together like across a desk the entire time building out towing.com. But as I've tried to scale the business and take the idea and make it something that can be duplicated on other domain names, is it possible? Absolutely. What I'm finding though is it's not really possible with my willingness to put the time into it and so on. Can I do the hard work of managing my people? Absolutely. But the only thing is I do not play it at all. I am very good at ideas and bringing ideas and communicating them, especially to the team. They're all pumped. They all know how great this stuff can be. It's all proven. But what I lack is somebody to kind of do the hands-on work. So I have some people that I'm talking to about that position and so on. So I got to do some hiring, which is also not in my, it's not a primary. I'm not very good at hiring, but I'm trying. I'm always working to improve myself and what I accomplish as well. Hope you are as well. That's why you're here with me. You're trying to, find better domain names, get better at this stuff. So we share that desire to do better. But at the same time, like, what gives you energy? What is something that you play at? I play at creation. I play at ideas and finding that stuff out. The management it's really difficult for me to do. It drains me very quickly. So basically, Dog Groomers, it will be done. It's going to happen this year. I'm working with my team to get it done, or to build out the system that will get Dog Groomers done and allow others to apply the very basics of our business model on various domain names. So if you have a local domain name, something where it has nearby on it, then you'll be able to apply our business model using the tool that we will build this year. This was supposed to be last year. That's the moral of the story. I thought that I could get it done. I thought I could power through. I'm determined that I am not capable of it. Capable, but not willing. Okay. There you go. Door cam, interesting. Stock buyer, kind of. I mean, those are fun domains. Sex toy reviews, probably not. Coffee suppliers, we're revisiting that one. Mobile web marketing. Any freight again. I'm seeing the exact same domain names. It's funny how they pop out and you kind of go, oh, that's still a good domain. Okay. Well, it is 4:00, so we are wrapping up the show, giving it one more click down. And as Jake mentioned earlier, incomecoach.com. That's not a bad one. We'll stop with that one. Incomecoach.com. See this as a business coaching type of thing. So what I can see with incomecoach.com is this would be a great blog for you or somebody out there that loves coaching small businesses. I know there's lots of people out there that help small businesses grow and things. Incomecoach.com would be a great blog for you. What would you do with it? Build a blog, share your strategies, teach people things, how to apply the things that you know to do. And then you can either go the route of monetizing via content, so placing ads on it, or you can create maybe your own video program on how to profit from things. Put that on Income Coach, or write a book or everything else all through it. That can be your professional brand. So it is a more brandable domain name, but it does give you that validation. If you were to say, hey, yes, I'm Drew Wash or Drew at incomecoach.com, and I'm somebody that helps you raise more income through your small business or something, validates, pretty good brand. So add that to your watch list. And with that said, I'm going to check in with the chat, hang out with you here for as we wrap things up. We did have some pretty good domain names this week. Let me kind of summarize them real quick. I'll read them off. Incomecoach.com, we just saw that one ending in 6 days over on GoDaddy, currently $65. Then we have coffeesuppliers.com, my favorite of the day. Anticipate that one going for well over 4 figures. It is currently $116, ending in 6 days. I will probably be in the low 4 figures on that one. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. Feel free to DM me if you love it also. Clam.com, not for me at all, but a very expensive domain name, valuable because, well, there's really only, 2 ways to spell clam. One of them is the right way. The other way would be with a K if you misspelled that. But I think most people get it right. That means it's valuable because it's short, memorable, single word. Drugrehabilitation.com, $10,000 currently, ending in 3 days. I avoid this one, probably worth the money, especially because it localized. If you remember on SpyFu, it's specifically for drugrehabilitation.com. Mentioned like drug rehabilitation centers near me. That means you can localize the domain name, and that means you can bring on more people using the local Legion 300 strategy that we talk about occasionally. Custom construction ended earlier in the show. That one was going for, I actually don't even remember, and unfortunately they do not show it after the fact. But there you go. Those are some of the domains we talked about today. Certainly a lot of value there, which I like them. So, and I appreciate it, Jake, that, I'm trying. I want to build something cool because I need it. Our business needs what I call the internet marketing as a system, IMaaS type software. But also, I know that it can benefit you all as well if I can just make it happen. So we'll see. Hopefully it can happen. Yeah. Hey, well, there you go. Make sure you subscribe, Rick. I appreciate it. Yeah. So we do this every single Monday at 3 p.m. and it's good stuff. I try to get lots of good stuff in it. And I welcome your questions. Just tweet at me. I can answer them either live through Twitter or here on the show. It helps me to kind of focus the content too, which is good because I'm pretty good at ranting. Yeah, I think a lot of people pretty good. One of the starting indications of anything you create is, would you benefit from it? Would you use it? And we need it. We have hundreds of domain names, especially I think we have like 88 domain names that are perfect for our business model that would almost instantly, like an hour each, be able to be developed. If we can just pull this system together, I'm trying. I have to overcome my limitations, which are plentiful. We all have them, right? And one of mine is the management of projects, especially when it involves other people. I could sit here and tell you everything that we need to do, but helping everybody stay focused and stuff, I do not stay focused well. So helping others stay focused is very difficult for me, which is why I'm looking and going to find that other person to get it done. So yes, and thank you. I appreciate you all. It encourages me every week to start here with you. I come in here, share as much as I can. We all get to look through domain names. I see what I'm going to end up bidding on this week or not. We get to all do it together, and hopefully you found a great domain name that you can take and develop into what's going to be able to make your dreams come true. And if nothing else, feel free to DM me and message me, because we're all in this together, and we're not talking like some virus type thing. We're talking about the virus that is ideas and putting them into the world, creating something that allows us all to impact hundreds and thousands, millions of people, which I can tell you, just towing.com, transport reviews, these different logos that I have behind me, we impact over 1 million people every single year just by developing some domain names. And yes, we profit well at the same time, but man, it's pretty cool to be just an individual guy, or a small group. We have 8 people in our company currently, and 1 million people use our stuff. I don't know. Anyhow, I geek out about it. So, well, I am Drew Wash, and this is Domain to Profit. Be back here 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you subscribe, because every once in a while we'll go impromptu. It's been a while, but someday I will go back to that. Otherwise, I'll see you back here 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate you all. Happy Valentine's Day. See you next Monday.